is Boadu TV. Truth and integrity.
Eba munyina kwa ba Boadu TV so no. Ai, ebu se best your first time subscribe ye nyina ye like video nja comment and to comment section mo ye wi na share. Na Gordon na one MPP squad no. Ejo ma to de gu vice president. Ne private jet awode bae yes iska ko munya sanketwa. Se Kufado de no krama. Neno ena Gordon ne kire se na mo Sam George krata wo Sam George krampo otwo ye nchi na wontumi ne ye beche no Sam George ono krata wo ye nchi no mfa no kotu prison ye Lexus wa crafted Lexus payment wo ye nchi no ye wontumi ne ye kwache no adia Gordon ne squad na YNDC fo no ono din
of that opposition leader John Dramani Mahama, now President John Dramani Mahama. Yeah, what was share NDC for lawyer for now Omudin Kobo. And what I almost say, baby, your minor duty, Ghana Judiciary no, Omu NDC for Muni Dieu. Now, almost befa prior my property. Now, so befa prior mudia, what mark a sena what to hollow, or more book. And what is what map? We used to watch man to represent Chief Justice. Was it I just said open a new Chief Justice and a reforms now according to NDC for standard no beat me up. And yes, I dear reforms will be intimate. That was the voice of President then candidate and opposition leader John Mahama. Obey a president is within why. O market started a kwanya ometime kuma busa panyin no e kwanya ometime twa busa panyin na de so e kwanya watchman no ometime apam no ayi nadi said the beya akonfo be wuram makwadom be said the beya emrante na omukon do galamse oboso bode abusa asase galamse no omubekọ akwakwa galamse ade se busa panyin no ogu ana itu that yes enemy ya from amanko fo bia sande petition Bediako na esa komo bebre wo ho petition ne ko okay ka petition na a lot of them they make sense, they make sense and also there's a defense they make sense and also there's a defense enti omo a omo bom paye me dem ekoso asere Ghana fo Yamompire Emma, the Chief Justice. The axis of evil. Eshe them upload to Niema. And now unleash the vultures to pounce on her. Mameno, the bush of four, not of four, and custom one pie mano. We hear two things: spiritual protection. She's not safe spiritually. Physically too, she's not safe. Mombo and pie mano. Now, me could report to be waha. And I'm little Peters. Never do good on him. And I let him call my post. Wait a year. Final report of the Special Investigation Board. SIB. Who's a became SIB? What yes? SIB was the kidnapping and killing of specified persons. Now, I mean, baby, paragraph 78. Na read ma obianti paragraph 78 of I mean okay 70 we call paragraph 70 was it the confession of Lance Corporal Samuel Kwaku America continued with the most chilling effect when he said, and I quote, after collecting Major Aqua, we drove him. Peter say, "Ada omu ya nioma." Ana yes sa omu. And I was after collecting Major Mahama, after collecting Major Aqua, we drove him and the 3 judges through the motorway. Just say, before Munko Kuno Krano, no more palace. That's why they collected his body. So, after collecting Major Aqua, we drove him and the 3 judges through the motorway and pond barriers to Bundasi, where the execution took place under a big tree near the cookhouse. When we got to the spot, we sat them on blocks in a line, and they were shot from behind by Michael, Tony, and Johnny, who fired at the same time in my presence. Tony went into the vehicle and brought out a container with petrol, which we used in burning them. We spent about 45 minutes at the scene. Paragraph 71. Was later in his sworn testimony before the board on 20th October 1982. Lance Corporal Medica faithfully confirmed all that he had earlier said in his statement. Then paragraph 72. Was it perhaps the confession which will certainly evoke the greatest interest was that made on 23rd November 1982 by Joaquin Amati, who, until his resignation from the PNDC in August 1982, was the most articulate and vociferous member of the council. His confession relates not only to the events of the fateful day of 30th June 1982, but also to his collaboration with the special advisor to the PNDC, Captain Kojo Chikata, in the unlawful common design to kidnap the 3 justices of the High Court and the retired Army General. We a SIB report no ena makeka baby kakra edema ebuchafo nyina yate. Na me ka we ache ekwan kro enipa timi ebu omutimu po. Say omoye aban. Forget the fact that it was a military junta. And actually, it was still government. So omoko said them bo mutimu po say the Bediako. Now look on this was say after collecting. It before walk off nipa kokwa kokunu no. Na who say when nipa bi. We ngura rubbish. Mr. That when we read what ya if you call one bobi. What I say? Na the air yan say and there Chief Justice President Mahama and then call for a tunu susan. A bra ye kofa Major Aqua e woni fie no. Na Chief Justice here ne woti wo ya omupe so mutunu no. Na wale no ofaditi. Woti ho de be fa ne ko. E dan a omukotena mu e ko bo po se ombedi awu no. Sa afie no a ene de me no kase. President Mahama say yi sa afie na mo say omunkotena mu enkoye committee meeting. There's no mere coincidence in this world. There could be something to it. In fact, Abraham, yama me just talk no, or call vetting. Suhini, Ebusan, say, na Major Aqua will be na nedia de. Everyone was so to fast, I link it in the buy. But would be an Obekano another day. Na Enra, in the course of the week, you know, Vincent Asifwa, Eda Sadako court, 3 weeks ago. I'm a ruling number. Na eno na judgment na akasa beto abonten say ye hu bi akenkan bi. Mr. Satipacho ma send bi bia ma. Factors ma menhwa de Professor Justice Henrietta Mensah Bonsu. O trade bi e wo ono ne judgment no mu no. Wo say ya obi atwo ne de even though Vincent ya ha. Enye was saying knowing the importance of the preservation of judicial independence in the court's ability to protect the citizen against the powerful in the community. Many are the provisions and safeguards provided under the Constitution. It is not for nothing that judges are required to take a judicial oath to administer justice without fear or favor, affection or ill will. How can the judiciary guarantee everyone's constitutional right to fair treatment it cannot enjoy any such right. When allegations of impropriety are made against the head of that institution itself, the people of Ghana will certainly be the poorer for having a judiciary that cannot protect them against the overweening power of the executive. Another class of citizens on whom there will be hardship is a class of persons who have made the decision to serve the country in the role of judges. Perhaps they may be forced to rethink their options and career choices if removing the head of the institution is no more difficult than removing a class prefect of a school from office. Because did I say more? Pacho, ubetwe ye fiso. And I mean, some can be man confrontias be man. Okay, my man naso. My kind of bro. Hey, made the brew. Okay. Oba Boamena. Ati me okay, yeah. Na Justice Heritage Mensa Buns professor was Supreme Court judge. Asem ko to nanim no. And one also didn't there you buy the ruling me. The Troy, but she was in the minority. And was say, when you say Ghana at the Mwaford, I was see a bomb home by. Now, Umutimijina brand. Now, Ubitabo at the Mwaford home by Amojina brand, no, a constitution. Now, constitution no enemy say a Debbie Baba. The benye will be a judge for. And unti said by your betima your mojuma abramus radie or muyamu sisi womo and now move for being whole time and judgment. Constitution no a bomb by. Now the hard say constitution no be at a more from bed that year juma ama abo be who bang abra at a more for one casano or mojuma or more yeno ombesuru because obikuta ahwode a abasa emu oduo na abasa emu oduo no so eye president abasa enemu oduo ene ti se atemuafo no omusuro abasa emu oduo a ombedai abo Ghana fo aka no ho ban wose de sa ha adwene se enema ekosuwe wo mu a emrantere maba omu ko school. Yeah, almost said, I say, yeah, now crown on school. Yes, say career day. Yes, obey a day. Yes, obey police. Teach the police at Adebra. Obey that was a man said, Johnny says, the property the banner, the investors in the home. Doctor, when pilot. Yeah, to Adama. Was it the hard journey say? And ranted in my power or more bar, or muti say, and compass it, or more judge for. And I'm idea air course winty. Omu career path no empia obe divert omu ye biem because eye hu ko say eni kwan say e basa da say obi a wo ye chief justice ni tuo e fote say class prefect e wo atasma so ana wewe so emme primary na class prefect o be say dey person tu no oba yes ye to ye tu no ya peja obi dey kwase we dey see anan was it any say basada na de ekoswe as a standard Professor Justice Maretta eno Henrietta Mensa Buns na sama o kan obusapo no eni but o betel ye na what we year buy and a petition be by Adenta Kumi was what the petition a former president. And then was it what the near who said a judge will be a could do baby a control could and a judge and a lawyer back your moon lady as no not yet the team said be womb. It was a common petition that a former president or moon ship Nanka or moon castle and run of person. President Mahama Amma Soja for the police for Aqua Yadeta Kuvi Aqua Channel Rambo style and ready in your game I say Adeta Kumi cry send one now National Security Forward the party defending see something say something social security. Almost the part of see something, say something. Don't be who I would say, and then what you know, but can't. Now, the point I can't. I fed ye. They say something, they say, he died. Because the moment you say something, you be arrested. Don't forget to say, Reverend D. Boadu also did not have call yet. You can see a coach. And you're betting home. And around 7:30, volume baby, and I need to buy it. Say, and this once again, 24, I could twice it. Tell my wound to be free to see a coach. Now, I was set President Mahama. And no more to the Punina, Yantia said, say, you Ghana fought to Obama, President Mahama say, what the leader of the country for the next 4 years. Yanka said he should be the owner of the country. So President Mahama must understand that he is the leader of the country for the next 4 years, but not the owner. And I want your majority shareholder. We are all equal shareholders. And then my echoes of airtime are both. And the Bediako be bring. Can I do? You that conversion. And it's a Bediako. And come back to us and say, dollar no, Eddie Ghana city no, why I paid the President Mahama Abekebi. Not about me, can't once say, okay, so far no. And this is one just a single policy of Modiaba, a mad dollar no. I want an above my Ghana city in the echo. What can bear 4 days ago, and rap President Mahama be Yano. We Yano must lead the buy a leadership. Leadership. The leadership, my $80 above. And then the leadership, no, I yet. Yan was said as I will count. It is a 7 acre and for her. Sassam now, Dr. Bamia, a kanye, bear 4 days ago. I dare see ya President Mahama about the Yano. Ghana photo do not say, who you chief justice said the bell better what term. What an I want. Ghana photo do not say, who person what term. President Mahama, and what an I want. You have remained silent. You have remained suspiciously silent, which gives credence to Sarah rumors now. A cost for them. It's about one thing. President Mahama come out to deny or confirm. And I was my brand table for 30 to go good when the mass. Vice President. Now yari. Wakwama no ne aba. Kodi bosumi mienu. In fact, so far there's a been Ghana. So many Freddy say certain vice president and I said even president go yara ko sabu 2 months and tibida. Omo koba. Oba ye what the private jet in the buy. Mamma disclosure straight away. I have no problem when it is necessary for the executive to use private jet. I have no problem. When it is necessary, say, president and now vice president. In fact, even finance minister and as a foreign affairs minister, Ebia Betmedru baby, na asebi here say foreign affairs minister no ekwo baby on behalf of the country. Ekwodim komo bia you better man private jet of anko. Me say many problem with it. Many problem. But NDC for be money be a crime. Na ukuje to black one. Nyakopon. Sa wo nyinya mi a e wo wiase a. Asem a abase se kwa nyakopon di. Sa ukuje to black one etu na ni seed na Akufo-Addo so na Akufo-Addo afa play no na enkrasefo no so na mu na he said the ensuo to na sa wo so a na Addo Johnson wo Johnson wo wiem. Why na what flight from Ghana to America? One you saw flight no muda. And I said nketia ebia se be yenti dia de minim because sa wonya be phone na se what play mu kwa na Johnson de Aba Johnson. Anye se ebia be yenti obe free plane num no osi form Aba Johnson no asa akoforo. Who doesn't do that? A black kwa ye koye interview e ka sa video no so bebo. E ka say wo NDC for ba ban mu. na NDC mpanimfoɔ president and the vice president ɛfa private jet say pɛ ɔbɛ resign ɛfi n'adwuma mu ɛna ekwe abuakye busa say hey that time na we use Land Cruiser therefore maybe we minister of education was said no my be that may resign tete me nwene ho kura bi may resign and then nyame nchadeɛ he's not even the education minister, he is a foreign affairs minister who is in charge of all these travels. But foreign affairs minister, he is in charge of all these travels. So I didn't go the next year say I saw sacrifice no. Then said the a black one must resign today unless he doesn't have principles. Your what's that video no?
Yeah, say sit in our form. Na me kwase na me bomb. I know akonom say about say 11 and say 10 point something.
But don't believe in all those. Oko bank wunya ne sa. Even banking, how much more for it?
At least it should reflect. Me na DSTV go na hear me. DSTV for omonte omo.
Omonyo.
But unim, I was say we should give credit to people and nyoma where credit is due. Dollar ne ba form. Untimi nka say President Mahama because we cry the budget started from April. What I say just 1 month power buy no and 1 month sitting na ho den ayde aba from sir because you know say sitting na ho den gina a structural because we import more na export to bebre no you be here more dollars to import. So for example osha they say crude na quarter bia and as every bosumi and sembia here about $400 million. Neither kokra fango aba or maimu. But say the international market fango ebo aba form to the extent say you don't need more dollars to go and import fango no. Say unya virtually $200 million per. Now what mean they import every quarter.
Almost
half. So definitely, the pressure on the dollar no so about form. Now, where we should be very careful, and for me, I think that we must praise Ken Oforiatta. And I have said over the years, Nanka Yepobia, obey lead to the DDEP arrangement now. Now, opening pam miensa or maimu muti sanyo manasepa. What do you mean Ken Oforiatta and film?
Of course.
What do you say? Yes, the engagement in politics be and I know be. But in terms of expertise to take us through those processes, no, can now, ora to force na nkese. Ebra already in maiden budget in 11th March 2025. The budget already of our parliament. Paragraph 15. Bibi Okai. Page 15, paragraph 65. Till. I say the debt service obligations of 2027 and 2028 are major humps. That is abundant and heavy. These humps are cancerous and pose significant risk to the economy. Mr. Speaker, beyond domestic maturities, Ghana faces significant external debt service obligations over the next 4 years. Totaling $8.7 billion, representing 10.9% of the GDP, with heavy concentration in 2027 and 2028. Again, 55% of the total external debt service of 8.7 billion is due to be serviced in 2027. That is 2.5 billion. And in 2028, $2.5 billion. Till me conclude. It seems the debt restructuring undertaken by the previous administration was designed to be 2027-2028 heavy. Tio, enti through Kenufrata and then another Danko Kufa the MPP arrangement. Say did a debt servicing arrangement between yene yaka wo say tua kwa brochire o ma yede omo ka no. And I'm saying Yakobo Besian abrochire akoto aton your bonds over the years since Nkrumah time into wasa bosumbia na o say tua yeka yede ekoma abrochire for. Now because of Kenufrata arrangement ninti no afi yentua eka bebre external eka yede e wo say ekutua abrochire. Next year yentua eka bebre Said the bear, who bang high near to me, ama yes, Kadia development, I knew my man. Nemum, what he say between 2027 and 2028, you know, you bet you are scanner can see a pie, external debt. So, because of that arrangement, now, ye dollars, baby, they could those external debts, you know. What you say? So, $3 now, our system now. So, I didn't know dollars, no, dollar, no, I want the enter.
What's the leadership?
Leadership said they.
And no, leadership.
The only a year, or more Cassani in our Maka, a gold reserve.
President in the fellow say leadership.
Oh, leadership from where? But
one worker reserves. Who said and go for the credits in the MPP?
Yes, because
about himself. Yes. And I feel was a leadership.
But the BOG governor now no tear there no. No na in charge of managing the finance minister. And gold board MD now because now attribute to the success of the city. And no move some contribution to the gold reserve or my enya. But statistics from the same BOG news a say young gold reserve no. In fact, MPP bomb more than from 8.78 tons. Omutimi peja ya ma abra MPP bebe fra bem no na di 30.81 tons. It's about we buy no kra no. So called reserve omukeka omusi amasi di najina nyina no. Only 1 tons. And 0.9 ton. 8 so 0.8.
I think 0.85.
Yes. Pe no mdi abeka ho. So and so that should tell you that there are other factors be in addition to the reserve because of course gold Boadu.
A major factor is the trade war between US and then China.
And the fact that
we can dollar no globally no.
And the fact that
and
the fact that we don't need more dollars now to service our debt. What you say?
Yeah.
I don't see why people should not give credit. Say where they buy idea.
Now ombetimi omujidi ni say new chief justice. Meanwhile this chief justice around how many years? What is it?
2 years.
How many years to go? What 10 years to go? And what 10 years to go? As was say new chief etino and then no benya chief justice no. Ama new or more so-called reformers in the beba. A kwabes on befa. Ama new chief justice.
And no ombetuno.
And ombetuno. Yanko.
And the money yehuno. Ma unim say they say the same NDC. This is the first time. Ye BTR Georgina Wood.
Yes.
At the time.
Yes.
To the extent say at the time Georgina Wood free akunyano so. The last speech na ya
sound.
Yes. Or say the NDC nearly forced me to resign under Mills. Na areho sem or say daily attacks from leading members on her and in the family. Say nyankopon kwa and at that time kwa or praise Justice Jones Dote. So ono na ojina na chi eboa no hye nim kran. That time the wanya sa 3/4 ibi.
Oh that be.
3/4 wo hwa. Oh. Uni madam we was say injunction cases are ya follow Supreme Court nyina. The 3 mosquitoes in there. In all the cases omo tena so. But omo maka ne
there is a constant cave for the one no. Omo the pivot no. Fulcrum around which be very involved.
Now nim so kind asifo case no the coin now about the injunction even though it was 3-2 me sure say also a review because what kind reasons ni be a one man and tosumu papa mentimi am print because John
say almost 80 pages
81 pe
but interestingly Justice Johnny Kulendi who kind of na baby what can say Supreme Court.
Yes.
Ewo ahwodini to me ni say. Ombetima panel. Who said there?
Fantastic number be kan.
Sir. Oh, kwa wo say o benben o.
Any me say utina asunti o ben obi a wa ben.
Yenti na say be church say no. E go force ehunu na wo mo. Hwe. O say kan hono minti.
In paragraph 94.
Yes.
Page 51 of the judgment. O say we are not unmindful of the fact that certain matters may require immediate injunctive relief due to their time-sensitive nature. In such exceptional constitutional cases, the Supreme Court, given its critical constitutional role, can be empaneled to hear the application immediately without delay. The court's unique mandate, after all, allows it to convene at any time to address urgent matters of national significance, ensuring that constitutional order and continuity is maintained, and potential irreparable harm to the constitutional order and public interest is averted.
Aden ye coming.
Unim say one of CJ ni charge
And can it
Shining Stars. Omun ni charge omu dey abo CJ ni say okotena case bia
Speaker of Parliament.
speaker ne afenyo marking case no say wabra ekoba say Parliament asem kesi bia ba ma confusion bia ba. In fact, it was even a constitutional crisis.
Yes.
About the interpretation.
Yes.
Of say omo also mo contest MP. Now omo also mo contest no. So omo seat na declare vacant and as any vacant. Afenyo marking the coin no. CJ panel mo tena ase. Ni charge ni say adena o tena case no so entem so sa.
Eti ne unique disease.
And the unique kolendi. Ah no majority no. In paragraph 94 of the ruling no. Or say the Supreme Court at any time, any day, holiday mpo.
Yes.
They can be empaneled to sit on a constitutional matter significant to the state.
It is a charge against the CJ no. Did John Dramani Mahama find prima facie case on that particular issue against the Chief Justice? Enti omo be emphasize we no.
Yes.
Quotation ye fan to adim.
Yes.
If I court President Mahama say okay, would the charges when you be free because what?
Now him say the prima facie case now almost say omanya tia the Chief Justice. Unim say ohwe Charlotte say there na before Charlotte say be appear before the committee.
Yes.
She knew those she has to respond and those are Omabogu say from a behind.
Yes.
The Chief Justice Asa today. Onim all the allegations are there abonu. Nemu ni hena omudi timi determine the prima facie case.
Omusi ni nyina.
Can you imagine?
Si ni nyina. To we saw bear 500 charges.
Can you imagine? when
my goodness. Areho.
When omo judgment are akomu favor because the petitioners say the process almost say it cannot be injuncted. But you see the injunction, there is something uniquely this kind in the judgment now. For me, I telling say your two school of thought say the application of injunction. That's how we be grandpa also die.
Yes.
And granting of the application so we be also die. People who have view say granting idea I don't know to me to us. But people say no. Once you apply an injunction, so I don't know what now be we say how can say be ba. Never so be na grant for so be na be so. Merci me die. Now we say o dia na say we say mini kwan say misi. Now who so bu. Now me can apply injunction. Now you granting now cost bu a. Na grant we a. Edan way. What you say? Enti papa also obi bia interested no sorry. Now me they say Omasande the Chief Justice herself apply to the Supreme Court. Say ope injunction na processes ni biwa yes and him bi because onim so kind case now for example Justice Kwaman police na yam gane petition now or say
akogo ayamga
or say yatia
or say Chief Justice
was what akodi say wu ama Chief Justice atetia
some wrong person. That's a court and they say you should have known better because people na court assassin free no hono only power of attorney rightfully
there be just a crumple ya one and then almost have to procure documents illegally fictitious one and the court proved that
yes
yes and if I call the former girlfriend do Bruni no the former girlfriend a busia beach as I said and
our Supreme Court Supreme Court I said no you are a known officer police officer and a lawyer So you should have known better. Also, when Tias and in the course of the argument, Chief Justice Tiantia, and you're not question at Tian where you, and I'm the signing Sinti. You need Chief Justice said. Me were on the panel. No, other justices are a bit more so take cases.
Your Tian or more, no class to be.
No, sir.
Obiakwan in fact, many for the court for the building. Come say now we did the police for na kasa and a befan koi. But panel no.
Yes.
The panel didn't deem it as contempt of court.
Interna.
Ya no man recorded. So it was in his own interest. In fact, the panel did him good by not recording it. Say the man who ma order say moncheno. But police for no on their own volition say responsible security people who say they were here. Santi BTA made them me kwabra material say bogu na magistrate court to be honorable. And na say and then is a clerk na master say the magistrate nkwa na ti edwam and wo di asemi. Ese wo di asemi honorable na wo bi yedede kofo yedede na ono say wo school kakra. No I say silence. Magistrate kasa na why you din na magistrate ye na juma no na juma ho na de asaba silence magistrate kasa magistrate ye na juma na why afedie afoka silence na ekofo asate esre ese na ya be too repetitive will mu say according to akoba metinu gugu no judge no SIT akwalo for content emed ne kotu so wakache ne say are you telling me say I'm not in control of my own court and I said the way ye dedi it o med ne kotu my point and said you know it mesre so they did him good. They didn't cite him for contempt.
The man here who crumpled the office say what was the said judgment abay now if say some aspect to be ma and yet justice is no na obebele mu
yes I did
apply to the court. Now court ama order say this aspect must be captured. I have my full and comprehensive report I be covering that is one. Two, the same case Daniel Ofori ni case no
ayo
oni ekoban omu blame chief justice say o ma judgment and ruling bia an favor Daniel Ofori no na ne man ye hu ni say in that same case no justice Pamai not on the case ni subi oma a view on the matter. So what you say o justice Pamai gave a view, a dissenting view on the matter. Meanwhile, we no what tell no blame chief justice say she's been unfair to you in the punishment. Na ne hu ni say enipa na oma a dissenting view no ona na say all presiding a committee no enti obi a wa disagree with the chief justice and the justice Tokono now all preside who petitioner also say the case no was not fair to you na nipa oma dissenting view na all case ni so do you expect obey fair enti say ne ma ne hu say just Pama Kra no me no I was saying come between free committee so
ya no ntino I'm told say chief justice say I assembly ntino and this what na so e be enchechi mu ye sa brantie no Ufori no I'm told say one white chapel ye ne dia white chapel there's a white chapel medidi nkobo bebre na ye infographics bi pesa me draw linkages ni ye na Ghana 47 na sidi all we obi a oska na wototo shares valid ones and SBC Eco Bank ne data bank money sensembi asem ko court justice Puaman etnas panel no subi and mu ruling in favor of Daniel Ofori says sikano ese mutu eskama no na interest na omunyusu no omunyusu compound interest most often than not that is simple interest etwe de enyusu no compound interest ena I bank for no society asem no so call court then ena yade justice Tokuno and another person. If I depend on better asem no so no. Omo rule here no mka say there be sa calculation we ni ade na branch no deserve sense ka no. E wrong. Now Justice Gabriel Puaman was in the minority on the panel. On that panel which had the Chief Justice Justice Tokuno. Afe Abranti and papa no e de akoma President Mahama say sa asem no a Supreme Court for DTR no ya na se momu use compound interest and the manema bi ni ade no ya na Justice Tokuno ti so no sa asa na wotena so ni bi ni nti no ye nyinedi okay nya hwe ye ba be nyinedi why na asem no ba be hwa me yi ma me nedi a enipa first one no ruling ma abrantie no or rule man at least twice.
Yes.
Or no let so say obehwe say ye nyi ma me nadi na wa say dey na nka be.
It's not fair.
Compound interest dey and yes simple interest o. Compound interest emu odu papa mo hwe the 70 krompo ye compound interest emu odu Peter so 1 minute wrap up.
Oh sir until unim until the Chief Justice and after the suspended Chief Justice there no court said your man a hearing for an injunction apply why injunction begin to ye BTM.
Yeah.
But unim asama okay cramp unim say o man we mu wo hwe parliament
and the switch and Mr. Mo the first
hwe parliament omo immunity.
Of course.
The parliament obi tun kwa ko dina parliament aka nsem bebre untumi fa ne court.
O Supreme Court immunity no.
Ewa e na mekan.
Twatum.
Oko president or take actions in Binia, also immunity. For free power, I say within a year, and see no when actually be our taking. That same immunity, and so the Supreme Court, any justices also enjoy the same immunity.
Of course.
Entity in Article 127(3), independence of the judiciary. That's the title. 127(3). A justice of a superior court or any person exercising judicial power, so you were right, any person or judges shall, the word shall not be liable to any action or suit for any act or omission by him in the exercise of the judicial power. What you? And the Chief Justice tonight case in so and or exercising the judicial power, you cannot sue her or take an action against her. Apart from maybe if you say the decision no and you ube seeking for review. But ultimately punishment for exercising a judicial function.
Yes.
Per Article 127(3).
Now, based on this article,
yes,
what the president has done is unconstitutional and it's a threat against the independence of the judiciary.
Yes.
Because judiciary no way that a bomb whole bank. And see President Mahama telling us say Ade oni mana.
Oh, oni oma bomuti po asheda.
But it is criminally wrong.
Biaso whether fair or foul means.
Aye.
Or see a pam.
Abusa penyu we ya branch abusa penyu we 42 years. Yes, papa me di asase we die. Ye pese de koye galamse. But one penny enti oni hono ma eni ebetimi ayesa galamse. Agisi ekuno and ye tu the dro kuno and ye tu so. Prof K.
Okay, what there?
man.
I see to everyone and say Wontumi adwuma ne bi. Prof K yankwai.
Ogodon. Me na wase na me fa nchiama achiefo ne ahwefo. Na CJ remove and sensem no men kan say de ya set time a Peter kan nyina no me ka me kwan ke nya ka because tape na yedi kan boy ya former President Mahama President Mahama edi kan in opposition say judiciary no leadership no reforms bi wo ho a I just say leadership we no efiri ho but yehu so matu anamon a eyi leadership no e de efiri ho but yenya reforms no mente ba kompo
the reforms bi ani ho
no menya te reforms no ba kompo so na osha
yes personnel
they are playing according to template osha judges are odi o makoka bench no ho sisi a Supreme Court na me wo publication wo ha say from your friend saying modern Ghana. Justice William Atuguba 25th February. Wono ka se yemfa judges no dodo na nkoka bench no.
Okay.
Onu free ho no. Ena ohu se yemfa nkonkoka ho. Enti se NDC fo bopo a omo wonkofo bi a omo na omo som na omo de kwa abonten. Na omo chechire tu tim se ye kwa akoye. Enti maame no emfa ho se oye
ni chai ba ko no se shining stars say
my
or requesting say you for justice ni bi emra meka ho no adwuma na was court ni doors and so only right
saade no so only right no eno na William Atuguba ma aka no say yemfa bi nkokoka ho na esua Emma workload na ho no nti de maame ne kan ne de William Atuguba e kan difference ben na wom ba man ti nipa ba kumpo a o se wo within the law fraternity etimba abonten beka say ade na wo kan wo ni hu kwan say wo kan because na wo kan ho ba maame na ono no ye the head of that particular arm of government no ono no ye head no suggest eno for one suggest personality so open numbers or say me pen numbers ni bi na ka na suggest personalities wa mo we di say mo fa we na nkoka ho wa mo we di say mo fa we na nkoka
no because of the body cry den ono na ti ho say ye wo hai godon say fast ono na in charge wa ana onu mo bia ne strength ne na ho den ni say ko ba se ohia obi ma na beboa no wa ha don't mean just oh fa koka ono na pampo mapa te so ono a enti bia fa ne bra na oba obeboa
obetumi aka enti
I hope I didn't hear
and you see when the CJ made that request that Ghana Bar Association, they agreed with her in principle. They issued a statement.
Young fan impose anko you're wrong. So that young fan impose anka the mamene any wrong.
Yeah, corrective measures.
The remedy to sad na why and say yen and one the remedy to say what suggests sad and say yen it's when they are playing according to templates at the hawk. Iti maame no sa ayina yate na okono me baby ameten from where I sit me hu ni say eso okosa Indra court no what the further da okoje punishment bibi papa bia ni ho a ebe free sa de animu de aba and it is a sad situation say ye what two arms of government and a mimi hu ni say o mabo omutimu po say they are fighting another arm of government adenti ne wo speaker lawyer near what president ne lawyers omo ena omo ye lawyers to some of the petitioners yeah what some of the petitions ne kra wo ho a evidence kra nim evidence in ka
dabi to bo kra me sew I just evidence in ka ho that make can say me peso bi bu beka say wo na wo kan we die petition no asa tro say asema mi kan eni se me die evidence kra sa ka ho me ba se me boa eti sanetio
on what basis now would determine even the prima facie case any
okay but that's
Daniel Ofori you see Daniel hu kra ne say petition no unzo kai Henrietta ne judgment now
prof
yes fantastic that's because nguma wa bono
one of the major shining stars for University of Ghana
shining Chinese side there do
oh mama no say me tell bia na me hu no ni no mo ko jogging wo be me nka ho no
on say o kan na yi na o say tama president saka petition no the first na also ko ye ne say anka o trokoma the chief justice say for responsible na asem say ni say na Daniel Ofori na say shining star na hwan wani ade aba etia wa anya sa o tena so starting processes no issue statement through Felix Ofosu say oh president has started the processes of investigating the CJ and her removal now was started consulting the Council of State by that time no it has to take Mameno to write to President Mahama say Mitchell said the natural justice there no mami copy na me amount based on what me the so they determine prima facie and answer mutampa asano me kana wunya so na say ni nyina so na onim wo hwe Daniel Ofori ni petition here e call 17th March and president issue statement no on 28th March It was now so close to 11 good days.
Now what are you doing?
I said no or Oma or don't met or from the committee BBA she dem answer. And that to the learned Supreme judge,
yes,
prof no. It's not fair. Because at that time no a man for Ababontini a criminalizing my no band the mob Ababontini because oh Chief Justice you be you know money why I say the same.
But then at what point in time and I was a president no I established a prima facie case against the respondent and as a Chief Justice say petition the bar on his own,
yes,
without recourse to the Pakwaya petition against you know obetuma establish a prima facie case.
Wontumi.
So this is the response answer.
Now you so Godon akofa ebia me cook. And now we be catch me Prof Q be catch me so Godon akofa Peter cook na this one Godon akofa. Enti yem pe kwa bisune yem mu na say na papa mapa na enyi bi nkan.
Hey,
it is only when I ask
Say.
further and better particular from you Prof Q say ohun yen na ohun no na picture ni na faha ebio na mabisa no so ma na chem so ampa me ko ho na mu amfa ansa no so no we dey
ni ti no
enti yenyi ni tiri no
Prof aye so
me ba oh
that interception there,
oh
it can't be that lengthy, yeah.
sir
Prof to aso.
oh
Bible quotation when I say time out. Okay.
Prof kan
Dabi. What you then?
then ofori I say on for evidence in kon
Family.
mama o mama
And then see those kids in who hand there. I hand for couple.
and mama
Was it is before the committee appointed by the president that the allegations of misbehavior and incompetence that we state and outline in this petition against the Chief Justice must be proved by evidence. No other context for proof of the allegations other than the committee is provided for in the Constitution. This petition is therefore not the place to try to offer evidence of the misbehavior and incompetence that we put forward against the Chief Justice. Was it this petition? So hey if I just move one sana asamado and I say wiem yes bra
okay se me nchame de manu besi
okay but that's
ono ne petition na o chro ye no evidence no e wo committee na ye be set up ne ho e ho na e benya evidence
okay so no one that say
it ono akasa no wo chro no oni evidence bia enti se wo ye Ghana ni anase me fan say wo ye within the a law fraternity e bia wo ye judge na e bia ye the petition say ya fa ho ne say ya establish a prima facie case against you na wote say sa de we ka ho a no kure nyame anim ni enya wo ya how would you feel wo be feel say obi amakomi school ma apply me ye madwuma na me nya eboni bia na obi aboni chimu po na wan fa dance ama na o ka kire me say se me pa dance a committee na ye bete say ye nhwehwe me nsem ni mu no e ho na dance no na sa dance wo benya wo he afi wo de bekwa na say committee ni benya dance no we
okay so don't want that say e da mo koye case management no
yeah
omko case management me ma catch me fancy court eyi na mo ye wo dua lodge ho no me ne munya na eyi ye wo hobi omko ye case management omo say obia nfa evidence ma instead they are going to invite witnesses.
Now witnesses on by them on the baby.
Omo for evidence ma still mere retro oba no be kasa
nto okasa we be term as an evidence and I said they be can be we na be capture no
omo capture as witness statement
so omo be chire mu ba be kana asem na say wajma mfa bibi an chese am passe say ni say ya
omo fa bibi e ma deputy sabo pencheche mu dia bechem kwa da ne ka momra ha Saturday momra na live ye telecast ba ye no ko be sa me akwa the next you say Chief Justice was say Emrani say petition bi ba say ya enka yenye no in camera na sa in camera no kwa bodie me suspect say Latin yi ba ye me say ye translated their ba English no I think the English people got it wrong off camera I think it should have been off camera like I say in camera there you know I said say Ola beba ena entiasi I was say wasre yenyima Ghana fo nyina hu so aye bone a Ghana fo nyina hu na sene na obi hu say Chief Justice maye bone afi wono aye so aye bone no o pe light enkofo abod kwadu se da bi yempe kanea yepesum argument abase can she waive that na no mo ya ebeye illegal na enkofo chese wo kan constitution na adikrontia constitution dey say the by say to the bia it borders on national security ente hu hia say national security dey ba bontin a e ha adwen and one or two issues be but cases are allegations na mo de bo maame nyina no none of them borders on national security and they are all out already so what else
go to the Facebook page of all the allegations no highlighting
from so Peter who was rap up on
you want my hungry
now ya
but
na me kokuka ho
the American say baby a wo de wa no see yen se me maka che ma me say some man grant say de na opa monko
okay
se opa emane nko okoyede mo begu ne hu fi wa abonten afi mu kodan mu na mo akobisa bisa ne nsem ma na yi ano na anu yie no afi yen fa no so mra abonten a omo se da bi na tama sami jam fiti radio so any TV so a na ma niema efa saa ade ne hu nyina ma me ne kura nya hu bi na ode to abonten no asem na omkan
ma me ne hu ye le da abonten
ma me na ode ne hu na asem ne fa ne hu no onya hu bi no na ekita sami jam fi mo de nam TV so de nam radio so
okay
enti se nipa ne timi yes ade a me de meka che ma me no se Oma ampene so say yenyi magana fo nyina hwe bia e ma ne nko.
All right, me da say kweku na motene ka no obi say Nana Kojoji Boafo say good morning God, please tell the present day Pharaoh to Nebuchadnezzar that power is transient and the blood of the identical commits unborn child will fight them badly. Yeah, my question is why are price of items at the cold store still high? Also I thought the CD had appreciated. We Mame Abba Danfo. Keep doing your best for Mother Ghana and MPP Gumzoya Bazomti. Good morning to you, Gordon, and your team. Big ups to you guys for the good work you're doing for the okay. Emmanuel Yankson, Samuel Jesse from Hamburg, and also the India, but Thomas Opokun, or the India Abba was saying, Wontumi say Nyako Ponshano, Obient Vinyanishi, appear to Esiama, and so the India by Victor Jackson, Musa Abatwa. Sami JC or TPC na Najima Kojo Yoma na Namponsa nipa bebre even say do chumasi man was saying bebre but your messages in the masse ni nyina e de aba koka yankoi
de say maame no e take time
what talk catch pa mo bia nkusi
abutre de say maame no de quantity bi mu I mean he's trying to educate the whole system of law, any adjudicator, how the system works. But Sami Jemfi it declare my man of faith on radio. Adenta kumi eku nkofua until say kombusha was our restaurant or no munim so be the birthday a ekasa munyina momra entrance.
To what sa camera ho na sem
yes hwe say baby omude e ko no
me ma woni ana video no
hu hia Ghana fo ni
okay
say building no credibility is at stake. How obi abetena ho from 7:30 to 8:30 ka eyewu ana bibi ni see wo ho a ni ye pe footage. The footage is being now manipulated.
Dabi to boasa
meba
dabi to boasa ansa now ye be kono dabi asa be kono footage no ye will be official footage any official footage from
meba
dabi to boasa any official footage from ho eye eduji tamakulu na wonu wanya footage no and we yiki to be 35 seconds per dia babo
ke ho na wo beti mase no
ahanti yenko
say wo image as an institution na happenings in your institution o na obi ayi kakra abeto ho you are the only person who was up footage no
okay
that footage na trendy say akọ beyond 72 hours What has the facility done?
Okay, irrelevant.
What has the facility done? That to set record straight, to make sure say obi obeba me facility no or yes safe and sound. This is the full footage of what happened there.
Oh, we might put him into us. He's talking from or your marketing person. Oh,
yes.
I'm sure see a what dream but say
yes.
It will be able to say, it is a baby 4 hours. Na bibi tomia.
Good.
30 seconds the penny meeting at the abana.
Yes.
I'm not getting from clientele, you know.
From hospitality point of view,
yes.
I also differ.
A 100 point, no, because I feel I'm on. Can me expect some make us say, oh, video near diama because of the privacy of your microphone. Yenya omu permission to show the video, no.
Yes.
Enunti na this video is in public.
So you expect a statement?
Yes.
I feel you are no more dissenting.
No.
And one
what I say?
You are on track.
Because
fire.
Mema bawo Abba. Say facility is under question. Say the facility cannot be trusted when people enter there. Because Ubahwa na BBC a third person who is no cause to the situation can come out and come and show a video without crediting you or without saying that I had this and with the permission of the facility. SME. That is where I'm coming from. Sa 7:30 to 8:30 video no ewe and unia uhu video na sebi uhu video na won say wabodame a ye bo a wakasa umobi ma wabo egu no sa na tie ye bodame a ubu afu a won say ba bi aduru no umobi om no nipa mu ayi na wie mo ba bi a mo hia ye meeting enti eba ne say na say hwe when evil leads you to do evil, you play to the opponent's advantage. Baby, everybody that has a role to play in the case was in that room.
What a coincidence.
Everybody. Na lawyer back on the only huni. Ebeka, ono na betro say meet behind you. Na say nipa we. Na koshe nipa na okoji video ni association to the people. Na die ya ne say wo papa panimu. Nsem na unfortunately nsem a ye dia tutu maame no so nyina no. Peter and Paul your friend is saying 3 no Poaman Kolendi any Esidua they play in all those roles. Cases na buy no sitting say no nyina omu. So eba ne saying is that say Chief Justice no mo enya nia na mo musa say nya dom mo ko exams ene yerema etra o
Mr. Sante fato so kitua bi wo dey abra wo
another make an want say Chief Justice no Supreme Court no ko exams ansa no akọ this is an for are being denied to go to Mokola no say Chief Justice etie Supreme Court etie enye obi ene be ka say me feel say o qualify
any what dey ni enti de koka eka ho asem no enie video ye hwe hu se empanifo bi kwa enipa bebre se omo ye friend say ajagefo yesi yoni kulendi eni jagefo bi no mokotena ase enti udu hu se ba ko bi holma obi ebema obi awa tu omo chese no ye lawyer tajo sorry enti lawyer tajo sorry no wa sorry a wo kwa akosia ona obi akoya awa tu ewe che ono nipa ko nsi ata de fitaa no enti ona kusia enti ajaji follow na eba no omo na omo ba kama
mu ni abetra se
didi okay omo ya miensa
omo nyina na
we de enam bom
say omo di birthday
we ba we di wiwi no ena titado sorry ena wo hia wo bi wo sorry achia wo bi no bo ani ye wa tu no enti before miensa na kwotena se ya omo chese omo ya ajaji for ena tado sorry akọ na ko chia ba akọ so bana wa tu no lady waka asumsem and wachawi and wasan baaye titado sorry san betena na konwa no so wani obi na ti ho no se ba konja boni yin ba ko ti wi One ni ekasai. Video na nwa nie. Na de ya me
the video na me show bibi.
Okay.
On table na e wo ho no. E reserve table o.
The sise no.
Enye working no.
Ada bi say ya obi antena so.
Debi akonya na judges no court na so no. E reserve table.
For sure or per the video.
O de play manamo biometro bibi. The people knew they were coming.
Yes, so
the institution, yes.
my reserve.
And how do you tell me some confirm you to a coincidence?
That would that be. That means what are you saying? Oh, you know, I create my reserve was said to reserve some more reserve way.
And the same person said, no, didn't birthday.
Who that was
maybe
the same person be
your birthday no more reservation.
Maybe I don't. I mean, yes, we.
Yes, say.
To was it's your way, maybe. Your viewing. And for the different interpretations are to so. Now. Wa wo be catch me go na Bediako say pesa short video bi e kire say lawyer tado sorry any judge for no anya meeting bi an me fa so your bodani because ubu mi say me yakwase that's right because video no e bia omo ye yi very free ho no because lawyer tado sorry any do didn't to say o sorry free nchen e ko judge for no ni ko di nkomo ye nim ebe ko join na mu table no for 30 minutes yenim because video dey improve but you want to tell me say 35 seconds video we wo sha okoye na 112 oni di gomo o sa bet na echi no eno ano no na ye me nwanwa abusuafo mu tie ye wa wabusuani eye judge but video ni ye no wo betima ye firi ho no wa wabusuani ye judge da ba kwa na ayie aba mu fie ya wabusuani ye judge high court judge court of appeal court judge supreme court judge na ayie aba mu fie na sa judge no wote ayi ase da bele mu hu bi da bele busafo nyaboka se yekwata ho Bediako didi a judge no poko bi judges they hardly do these things. How will you find a judge at a restaurant? I just say bia the judge we bema na say Nigeria edi ni bebia e bi ona busafo no oya mo perfect e kaka they are always in their homes so first e kaka won na busafo akotan baby kakra bi ye ko mo nche we are fast no mo kom baby a year most of the time memorial service and wa pa no waba hey you to collect wie ya you preach you to collect wie no okọ
and our burial service no they go for the burial service.
Yes.
They redeem tribute ni sa no man
no moko a year na se kwa no waba en sa body no wo mobi wo be ma wo bi se moko bonsa ma me boko no ko ni fie afede be say I'm hoping for the day menya this real opportunity say me kwato ba ko didie na me ni Supreme Court judges mi no betina ase ye
wa hwe ye wo series I hwehwe wo TV so this investigative normal na hwehwe no any cameras CCTV cameras ni sa normal ama yeso ade o what time did the cars come and park at the venue? Who came first? Who came second? What time did they leave there?
Nina videos wo
and did make us say the institution you know by now ka adagye na BNI boss enya ka say yenkofa adenta kumi ene ni bepunu BNI boss onkan hu se wahwie moja egu onkan hunu se wahwie moja egu but ekrom ha no oman mu ha no 4 years bia then there is a change about to obebaso what you say
okay
yenko hwe videos no nyina na bua akohwe yeso yenim nkrofo video no me so kohwehwe videos na you understand say grand scheme no it is not scheming
when the Michelle GM Michelle and now the 30 minutes am fanka ho nam ka me mama boy ba ko bi query me ma se that na se wonu wo fa che me I never knew say one day me nyini me ma se that na se kan petitions nyina ma me no so chief justice response no me manya bi and make kan bom na me so for the education of ubia enka charge then question charge and answer charge we ni answer ni charge we ni answer ni na me dia ma say ye for ye small bi na keka bom ma me na ka no pay ba ya wa ya afa na wasan dia abrem ma query de wanya dia wi eti no What are you telling me? Mr. Santi person me be ma because fa Dano for the Bremia na dia ba shining stars so dey so na wo dia ba
eno go nya fa kodu antwunyu no to ase
my shining star
what you say into wo share process na ekoso any senior okokota nkrofo na ewo interest na na ikuru asem no it's not fair.
All right,
now wo president normal wo gina campaign so kan dagbon jinsem uko otumfo ho adan no ankotena wo bisi enka asem no
ko kada asem ba wo
adan na wo ankotena otumfo ho anka asem ni bi ba wo fo se baby edu na neutral hand can do the work. So adan na mama no time ben pa now time. Do you hate Fantis that much?
Oh, has it got into that? Say
no.
About Fantis where she comes from. So anyway,
the name Tokonu is not what they are fighting.
No, they are fighting the person and not the name.
And some they almost say or the Kawari no nyai.
And said the Mr. Tokonu.
And you no unkai no offer.
Mejaka. Okay, I was for you want to be radio 5.9. Madam Mr. Santi, say a kwambemwa, meteki just about okay, fast meteki be 10 minutes. Na me de Ghana phone nyina ya go through a question and answers Q&A. Ye be size no ene. Ye be size no ene. Peter. Yes.
On Prof Q asimbi o kan say
na say na nyi sije nkwasem na be kan say me ba cho be another critical issue said the onslaught on the house of Chama Wontumi
ene de unim Chama Wontumi asa
yenye de yen go straight na but to go answer yenye de
okay mba
okay
e ba no
okay
Prof Q say ma me ko committee no na say okodru ho na say omo anye ya onye yi anka onyai e maninka but you see adina ma me ne ye no enye no for that posterity what I say only onim say Bediako do oni nkofo no oma bo ma dream po whether A or B udi for only for
ansana ye beto aba no na NDC for echo IPAC meeting esan say ye nyina ye ni hobi ntino omu free wa na oma ba betwa ntro from day one e fiti bra omu nyina kokohia ni ye ne public no ekele sa mischief ni nyina one time me say ekele ni nyina
expose omu petition omu
that is the angle I'm coming from.
Yeah, but so ko na so nye no whether in camera or on camera onko because only findings in there say obvious
nipa hine be read
but she will have an opportunity to challenge the findings in court. Article 23. What I say? Findings in there. You say that my bomb mutim point there. Ebe call baby. Fine. E Korea obetima challenge findings no e court. Na hono say no, say they are clothing themselves with the fact say constitutional state na a entrenched position. Say it should be in camera. Because a entrenched position to young drea enye. Fair enough. Oh yeah. Yenim and I say ye ba me no so ma bom timpo ombenya omo wi a obetima challenges findings in court. It's a court then she can push for the transparency because of Supreme Court on the end they say in trend position the end it's enya botre na adanta kumi asem no nim
what here she man
say and one of the man now me me dey 10 seconds be can wo dey.
Okay, it's my main announcement they say. Mr. Santi ye hu adwuma.
Okay.
About exactly 10 o'clock. Hey, now that's about how woman that's why I can say baby unke bi okay. Obesrai. That's why can na wo ye. About 10 o'clock say pa adena maye no. Maye petitioners ni nyina obi a petition for the bar against the Chief Justice. And na Chief Justice response. Me say that for quotation memo a summary of the petition and then the subsequent responses. Inti meye ni nyina ene Ghana fu nyina e say nyina according to say nyina ye tubom na yehudu di for yehudu abodi tsemopo it 10 o'clock exactly zasante twaye tum 10 o'clock na yenko Peter yenko
minti bi da se enipa ono se wakohu bibi na ni nye ho no atro petition even the petition no wafa video na attach yo was Mr. President adise na makakohu enti hwe na eye ABCD na mum me nyina so no for security reasons uhia me de beba now ultimi ko che ni say a charge no say publication of false information.
Yes.
But false information be.
You no manka. You no say publication
information ayi apie. Anya adanta kumi na release you.
Dabi, ayi na de baye. Eduji tamaklo.
Na joy. E de ye on major news.
Na wey. Ade we how can you draw conclusion based on this 35 seconds in your
say. So because of we charge publication of false there must be an act. They say who they are. You charge you publication.
Kache say ye tie edumunu enye ni asabo na no munsan wo.
Who they? There was a publication.
Yes.
That was station.
Yes. It wasn't a petition.
And you who quiet no. And you bought your hair way so can way. And I also the road end there.
That one can that one no. Miss Obo that was in the Hey waba. The one ya kwa before so.
Ono na ga ya mama problem. Sadana ye check body no. Sadana ye check body no. Me kwa go is more office for so. I say put ho. Me say office guy ya nyimfie so me never go ma
Peter stay focused. Peter. Ya kwai.
So
meje ifuse
na me ba. Ne ema me ye ni say. Adada Kumi never published any picture or video.
Yes.
In fact, me tie no crowd for Admoche interview. Paul Bisano. I say oh Paul, mo ni nyina ho.
In fact, the Robusano. We interview ha. The Robusano. Say wo video ni no hono. Was say wo de enti wa petition. E drew hono ma.
So because
he was very responsible.
Yes. Because
very responsible petitioner.
Who say the own the sensitive nature of the case.
Yes.
Na obi akofa ni video abia beto abontene. Hey, no masma amanfo so mkonkwache no. Mu wie ya that say me na de chi ya no. Anope na musa eko to share chema Wontumi so. Unim mame de me hu ni say MPP oso mkom humbo.
Ekabo mbeba.
Hwe. No ma ekoso no ehu. Aban we ayen hu say they cannot take dissenting view. Oka bibia tia om ne ha om pe. Oso mba be hwehu na kakra. Hwade om de ye okatachi. O de wasem de men ka Canada. Hwe Kasben. Yenua speaker. Ehu. Speaker sat fight galamsey enye ne.
Dabi.
O fight galamsey even election time quite one time bi Michiano program bi asam speaker. Na galamsey de e ya de bone ye nyina ye support say ye ntwa so. But baby election ye do yi de. Wona okatachi ntoko ya mu queen. Menyin some bonya response no so well we will fight at least or china bi no we will never know. Na abai foforo aba na omo advocate for a year obit me frese ye nyini free so because of fight galamsey. Na ampeni ampa na galamsey na government ade NDC for omo na galamsey omo na kura copyright. How no me koso no ehu na nya no nko na me adam tese o makofa prosper o machi prosper agbanyaga na NDC prosper harmless person because I got to be money nya adwinti mama kwa kwache no na dem say NS kwa mo chi ne kakra o wan kan chiro
NS do
me na me ka chiro
o mo chi ne kakra that day no
I have disclosed it
Kwame Ado of the new crusading guy
wan kan wasam da
yakwai
oso mpese be dede ba maka yes
o mo chi no
who ya friend no ya chi no
say
on ma o ye stop no mo invite no say omra oso odwe ho ano asem we asem be ko asem be ni na me ontimi ko boka nkofa lawyer me ya meko also koe na akwani bisa ne say na lawyer we no so ma lawyer ma because some me say enya sem bia sa no are you sure no say no bisa no cheche ni mu a ora de onye no ugu aban ni mase ni ade a owie no say ba wo de this is ubeden wa ba ma hu bela
Belfast, they are pretty
wow. And the sad Kwame.
Oh, yeah, Sam.
Hey, I know what that's my see.
Oh, okay. So, na prior we back wa
ebu
ubua ebu.
Yeah.
Ukaboma ubua eten. MPP. No me ekoso no. Omo nka omo because it is so clear. Say, nkofo bi wo ha. Then BC administration abo mutimu poso ombeche.
Yeah.
And Chairman Wontumi is one. And I will be very surprised if Chairman Wontumi him say, oh no, on your target for NDC.
Oh, when
yes. Na nkofo no mo yadwuma kra target. Na wow, says who adwuma na dey no your target. The Chairman Wontumi na nka say nim say, and also so a target. Hey, Monday ya omo say omra me report ni ade. On fanse ni tinim oba onko. What I say? Opo onya bedun kra pe. Echo office ko report to pay. Hey, so o ma nya hwe kra. Oh, me say. That's all ma bomuti mu pa. Na me say.
Na wo letter no mo invite no. O say CID department, CID 4. I invite Chairman Wontumi say Omra anti-armed robbery department.
Hey, this is the one.
Oh yeah, me official you know. Omra say enra asem see you know. And I yen tiase no. And I me now for be security for no. Anti-armed robbery department. So the anti-armed robbery department of the CID is investigating a case. The anti-armed robbery department of the CID is investigating a case of illegal mining. Hey! Asambedie.
Na nta na dwo no. Almost like bibi betum. Say Coco board I any payment be adwuma bi ho asem minim so.
Ah mete mi huin.
Me say, Chairman Wontumi fan say ni tinu say, Chairman. Umpo. Man de unya bedu grand kwa.
Ba ya no.
Unko fie.
Ya no. Sa asem no mo ka say.
Me ba say de ro maka kire no.
Sa I don't know where the rules are. Me so.
Na ka de ro anka
who I see a chew.
Anka oya ma nya asem.
Da bi who na see a chew.
Omo say, what you say?
Be say. Who na who creative, say you are creative fear and panic. I who na creative fear and panic e wa wukuba. Any the robusa for to see a chew. You see, one more ka sa asem say abani tuya Chairman Wontumi sika ebi mu say is it on I almost say is it 8 as I say just before the swearing in. You see say you no illegal Sam George baby will be a one quarter prison CCA because Sam George sa the brand new tier rubber vehicle now toy. Yeah, for just street value about $10,000-$20,000. Revenue in Ghana for you from me about $50,000. Car tire demand was 3rd January 2025. After the Chief Justice had issued a statement, they say, "Am I in the page?" Chief Justice. Okay. After Chief of Staff, already was a truck say after 7 December. Ma abayin twesi ka bia no Sam George sika no ye man approval on the 3rd of January 2025. 1 month after that statement had been issued. And also on the nearest prison on that way.
Because inti finance minister be the man say waiver no.
And na card ye the man will say would the year juma sa parliament na wo mu no. That parliament no.
Yes.
The 8th parliament.
Yes.
Is that say on 9th parliament?
Yes.
So did Sam George use the car to serve the interest of the 8th parliament? No. I just cry.
Me say, last week by Audu ka baby. When
now do away one right.
Hey,
friend,
no manya problem nya but.
Watch it.
Audu ka baby say. Say the nkofo na bo mutimu po no. Enye mra na yi na omu show. Me say, Chairman Wontumi mfa Prof Keso kan. Fanse ni tinim say. Edwada unya bedu pe kwan bi a ombepa bibia gina so e de detain no atwe na so a punish no ombeye na ofi se nka enra senka wa nyese mu station mu frɛ no a omhu se dede aba ho kakra
e ka me do meye
na drone na omde kofio no na omde kwakoye dey
na isi Yakopon de
drone what was it for
enra me ka chairman say drone hu akɔhye no memi fie drone betito memi fie a mehye no etito fie ho say isi adene titoye no ena omudi nkomo that time na lawyer no buy ya omoka say afidie ombejai na nyamba mande wa report to Accra no ena omo say oboja padia beto chema wutu oboja padia beto chema wutu bi fie ejapadia benya drone na omo say that the court chairman fie say e go twa pictures ni adade mra no nya mencha de eduru chema wutu bi fie de tehwe fom na ekemi a kamitwa eja tumu wo hono mo a kamifa ma wo mo but e chom no zidi kuma chema say wo mo befa nko na me mfa mo ho enkrai se be san course de say adjoining houses na nipa menu awura bra ba ko fie say omko huri ni wall afa the other side enya access to the house and mama ne say masa me pension money me dey see me that to me wall wo na wo fi we si fam no pam wo mo no mafa enura ho omo Rambo styling roads e wo ho nyina omo blocking
na ye dey
amwa wo
na ye dey
yo
enti unim we nyina che se eye etimupo bi o mafa eti ankofo bi se ekwan bo mu ye be kire omo you will teach them lesson ye be na nya ne na se chema na unim anya ne unim se NDC 1 President Mama 1 they did that to the businesses e kire kwam se konya judgment debt pra wan timi wa execute mpo enti also hu se o target the kwam bi am bo so mbeta
NDC for no more ka se ye tu achema Wontumi sika for cocoa board no we are challenging them now they're in government ye challenging Randy Abbey say cocoa rose this animal sika bia ye tuai between December and January omofa list them bra because ye demand DC for contractors are almost so oma ye adwuma e se etu omoka wa ye adwuma aye so onye adwuma na ye tua de ka o omo ma ye adwuma ye tua omoka nyina no there's omofa full list them say cocoa board sika ye tua ma contractors wa Ghana nyina omudi ni na ye hwe DC for wom
ya ne ka date
omo se chema Wontumi eye adwuma cocoa board ena ye tua ne ka na aban no through the letter from the chief of staff look I say after 7 December no my ndua obiaka without the express approval of the incoming
abra bana budget for no
abra bana budget for what are you saying
enti me the mechanic say MP for come because this is not the time and indeed I see signs in fact chema Wontumi asemi bai me nkofo bia no mo ne nya dwen a omo ne ekun tokwa bibiri ya na omo wo fie ho ebomla ya amafo to go and support so they should build on that unity omo mra together anyesa the country is sinking
all right that's it mame koko ka homra
togetherness no is coming but the leadership also has to work for the coming a trade a trust and loyalty what you see who betray you can't enjoy comfort when you have never experienced pain.
Until who believe God in theory say for peace to prevail at least do be there must be war.
You can't enjoy comfort when you have never experienced pain. You can never. And then when you betray other, loyalty means everything to you. People, the party faithful showed loyalty to the party. Baby Edruno, no Marco baby a warning ye. Peter, the first and foremost, by now, can see a new clean face to interface to help bring the togetherness. What you say? Tia say executive no mandate was to win elections.
Dabi.
It was a 4-year mandate. No,
it was a 4-year mandate. It's the Enkadesa. But you see, a 4-year mandate with a you say, winning elections. But so one winning elections and just winning mandate to be.
In 2 person can say Arsenal league in just on the umber you cap.
Now Arsenal man league and you coach the
so I'm from the honest.
Well, open soccer side MP are better than Arsenal.
No.
And to me, yeah, trophy, yeah, Real Madrid, yeah, trophy.
No.
Once when your trophy, you will go.
The owners.
What about the owners?
The owners will decide. And yeah, we are supporting.
So the owners should now go for all the yeah, you be owners and go. You have justified it.
No.
And one as my mama can. This is where the problem is.
No.
Some party owners were they should go. The grassroots will stay in their house.
But the grassroots are the owners.
No.
They will decide whether who
and
the grassroots will decide.
Mama will show them
the grassroots for the owners of the
they are the owners of the party. They decide say Prof Q or be
and I make a choice baby. We need fresh faces. You need to
through the AGM no the shareholders the grassroots
so the grassroots are saying that honestly
I'm not saying about elected. What I'm saying the unity aspect in the say Prof Q ni tisa abe Prof Q ni hwinye na ni unya sa no man na
and I make that's what I'm explaining to you. It's a pain and loyalty. So we say the shortest possible time no new faces are the love from the grassroots and other people are for them. But when they show their face they will come.
But you see my main case is if we are saying yes we can be the pen asset.
Of course.
When a new face is brought onto the scene now on time for and you will be a pen asset. So people who have the mandate now let them share.
Now me now for some now me genius idea.
Now I don't know more idea no. Prof Q, young quay.
Pardon.
Yes, bra.
Sir, achiche no. Trademark of NDC so mo ba ban ma. But we no the omo ye no strategically e be bo omo.
E bo NDC for.
Yes, because NDC for him say at the end of this 4 years on benya succession crisis. Because yen said that market will be at to say Dr. Baumia. Ono betimi abeli on betimi de na call election no watimi and we need election there more. It is an etie dia yenye niema ebe dampen the spirit of MPP4. Say supporters and as a bit deepin some similar cracks bia a person eba party nim. It is an etie dia yenyu so sa achiche we. Now the certain president na nkasa de sa de ne woni mu dada. Ada oka story bi wa ha sei. Kwame Jebiti Jowulu.
Ajolu asem na ha.
Wanom sambo. Ena 2016 osese woko independence parade na obetwa hwe. E drinking bow.
Ai.
Yakofa Kwame Jowulu. Yeche Kwame Jowulu somewhere February ye jan October. Under former President Mahama ena sade ni siye. Ene so usu bempa ya nche no. Chema wade ya nche no temak so. Asabi onabo asamo abo atin ya nche no.
The charge of the board said the Yerenabo Abu National Security for me.
Okay na da kwa bafi.
Top FM.
To echere he ya.
Kofi Adams na me ekoche no.
Ye che na da kwa bafi. Iti eye niema ewo NDC mu. Say anytime bia na omo beba ban mu bia no. MPP4 na abeda target. Na mayo ho sem ne say Oma na ewa ban mu. Ya MPP4 na ewa ban mu. Ankofo eni akonwa bo mo ankasa bo akonwa ma omo ho eda na ewo ho. That's where can say mpo omo pacha omo ankofo no. Eda na omo ho dwanto ahene e wo party nim. NDC ni aya bone no na MPP ni afa ne chaw no aka so. Na wa pro ni tumam no akwa chew no de ama NDC no. But that sa nipa kro na ne nanfofo ne ba power na omo teteye no. Omo teteye no ontimi nko ne nanfofo ne ho nkoka nkyere omo se de ana no meye ma no nso ye bi mame na mo teteye nkrofo. Inti ene oma yedin inti aso dachi bia MPP besamba power e ma sa cha ne ntoma na oma park no oma sa kofa bi ma na ye beba power ama o masan be yes an ema ne bi mu ana na ehọ na da sebre be redeem quotation ne de ama me no we here to the NDC da sebre me ba to the NDC entata we fi ase enye ne ye fa chemate Bediako ya mo ni tuo nku no ye de ne Taliban abo ni tuo wo na chi se ye kunu de ne koto mok nyankopon dom ne papa ne ti ase e de na NDC mfanya MPP but we nyina ntimi ambu yabam but this time around no ebia ye kwa ne ye ba ne ye man sabim that's a read Luke chapter 6 verse 25 mami
na papu asobe na ko
eno nya wasem
Bible
verse 25 verse 25 that's a read mami
Lucas empa etinsia ntimu aduonunum mu amoamiye munue ne comedy mo
yes
mu amoamiye
ba ko santo aso
ne comedy mo
ba ko to aso
mo siri sesei munue na mo wure beho na mo su
yes and this for
Luke say
Luke chapter 6 verse 25 eti mo ena mo sere mu fi se ya che chama Wontumi ya che adenta kumi enti mo wo power enti mo yes ane ma no ena Luka nsempa no da sebre kan ma mo no o si munue na mo re beho na mo su ye ba na ye beba biem ye beba power biem no ye mu bi mi amete ya me ye keka I'm telling you me ye keka dia kwasui
obi abetima
twasa yakofa John Boadu ka Adam be kan ha say kan no permanent ra mu biem me I suspect so mo be fasa cars na em so mo bag cars na just to track them yakofa ka ni wia ni asan ko jaka no asiba bi se wankasa kofo ade
ebetima ku kwan so
chama wade ka omo kofa ye wie na omo sa ko jaka ni siba bi se wankasa kofa oka
no a ediki ni mo omo ye no omo anfa mo no mkopa
Mr. Santi Pacho me the picture bi ma fatu so sisie fatu sisie na me hwa ade
uremu a nsuo ni aduane ye de maw na o de kan wano ba bi e be di te no obia no you never come back the same.
Mr. Santi Pacho mo da mo hwa ade mu da mo hwa eni
kwam jebi no
kwam jebi court orders rearrest of man who predicted Mahama will fall.
Komisani o
what the kwam jebi ni Ezwani edi muka kira kwam jebi ni mo hwa ade wo say mami reading a second court in Accra has ordered the arrest of Kwame Jebi, the man who allegedly stated that President John Dramani Mahama will fall down during this year's Independence Day parade. Jebi, 33, who is being held on charges of threat of death and offensive conduct, failed to turn up in court, hence prosecuting DSP George Amega prayed for a bench warrant. The court will say Jebi is alleged to have made the comment at a drinking spot at Jowulu in Accra, and this was witnessed by some people. But anyway, where Kwame Jebi asemi, Kwame Jebi amani hu no. So timi this asemi. I wait till you so. Where you President Mahama?
Wabo yes. Na o kan story na abusuafo no be ka say onya typhoid bia em say affect na adwen. Onya typhoid bia em say affect na adwen enu nti na ma na yesa no nti kwamje godon bra obekai ai ya ofada na yesia no ye na se no ai George Boatin.
Yes.
George Boatin so be contest former President Mahama. Nipa na the form ne ma George Boatin kekene ye yina di free NDC party headquarters.
Yes.
Ye wie ya no ma ko George Boatin fie se wa ye fi woni fie ho. Na o ma sa ko akoche George Boatin wa denta so wa ye fi e woni fie ho.
Me sama
sa ko ni fie.
Ade ye say almost had na ekodo. Na okofa dent for sabeche dey say won twitri ni say and dey say you say achebo. Oh my goodness. Arabusafo aha ye Wontumi radio 95.9 movement television to program din di betremu ye di nkomo you see ya na light kakra but we are living dangerously as Ghanaians. I'm telling you, we are living dangerously. Now I don't even know say obetimi back court no when justice crumpo court look at nema koso you ni akoche no eda me kan wa start free no ayin owura kan ofrata so many the run da se beti ha ye kan nkofo send message munyai na de akolo twa mo kan na ede no de maamo enfa so be ni munya as if I knew said there was going to be a day for somebody to also arrest me. Yeah, kind. As if I knew. Make I say me first work of Frata or bad bear say me who no bad ye. Yes, a back physically. You know, you interview on her. No, for black watch of blessed memory. And one no. Me knew so whom you be whom impo. And yet the many through be hot. And yet the 1 year through be hot. Hey, I can tell you. In fact, MP Pamamumu obi a Ghana for do na gire se ni ti more den kra no obi nya no so faso eye denya o ba ku bi enya no so eye denya na obi enya no so faso kwakotwe mpra kra man e man o ba no kra mpo no o hwe no o ma singing room bi so no so nya no so faso eti yesu sunka e na akwa di timodin papa di timodin mama di timodin he etu bi na akwa di adasara wutete nkoma na ye kasa ye obi di obi ho adanse a e be surprise you et
kumase
da se be chi kumase
ai Mahama me chi kumase
and that's so oba de friend say to trace bo achi
ko ka trace bo achi se bo
ya mechi
kofi bo achi
mechi eti John Mahama e na ko bi sani you see na John Ludi ya see ni mo kakra okay sa sport na se bi see ye no
that's no experience ya ni aka de rope
I don't know we the rosa she baby me show ye ko
show we yeah you tell them
obi akọ wi aba
and to say afi nkwa wi ye no em say me may last because she say that similarly coca no more pre o
good to go next coca kwa dey say the 3 years say don ko kun wo OSP ho no
coca o ya chobi na ya ko ma bele lu akoko ntokwa am say ya ko
me dey ma me dey be ko achi say mental ma
me pa cho ade a ya wo wi ase de say wo ton ade wo render service bi wo ma wo man no na ubia enti na wunya hu ubodaru kopa enko baabi en enti meka cha we say ope baabi am abo wodwa hu devra Fabra movement television so Fabra Wontumi radio 95.9 oba eni penfo medi nkomo say eni aye short ayi bi kwampo mawa ye betimi aye small video bi say 1 minute say be to le bi a obi din de bada wo hwa as a documentary ade a wo pe 5 minutes no why documentary of 25 minutes obeda capture ade no enti ye besre wo pesa amwa na wo de free 0509 301 401 0509 301 401 and now 0246 375134 0246 375134 or 0534 382448 0534 382448 free wo ne mana obetimi de aba obese yeso yemra ho nso a ebetimi de aba de no ba bedi nkomo no payment no yenya ne chenchene saa ebetimi stagger payment no according to one kasa wa hoden se de bia betimi ayama me no kasa and the most listened to political talk program on mass market radio Saturday morning movement television Wontumi radio nti emfa nko ba be gogwa da se be ye advert bi wase no mo generators nipa kon kwa ne ho kire no every day be so important for because e ba ha nko for to dum so no so aba aha enti e be se momra ni nidwa ni nyina obia enya so efa so kama emisa santi pacho afa ye mo ade no so ma me wai me ma wo ade bi what aha kama me pese ye hwe chief justice nsem no said the city petition nyina aba chief justice e no no so the response no na me a mayim kakra me de ma abrante no so e de aba enti be the message I want us to travel on this same journey together. It was a petitioner where you complain by shining stars. Aha, me that's my favorite people. Mr. Bacho, Fabi picture the tone kakra. No moons I didn't hear live. Uda corner be another what Makwa Hall when live. Come on. Was a petitioner complained by shining stars. On 30th May 2024, the Chief Justice wrote to then President Akufo-Addo proposing the appointment of 5 Supreme Court judges. This action allegedly breaches Article 144 of the 1992 Constitution. A casual look at Article 144 clearly indicates that the Chief Justice is not mandated by any provision to officially make a request to the President regarding appointment of justices to the Supreme Court. And the Chief Justice, where you shining stars for petition by a command President. Chief Justice response to you. Chief Justice response or say on 17 December 2024, Professor Asare, that's Kwakwaza, filed a similar petition to President Akufo-Addo. President Akufo-Addo and the Council of State found no prima facie case for wrongdoing. They referred their cases, that is, I will say GBA and others versus AG and another, Sky, that's Richard Sky versus AG, and also Waha, and then that's why Champon versus AG, and also Waha. The same facts and legal grounds were previously reviewed and dismissed. The Chief Justice's actions were based on established practice for nominations to the Supreme Court. Then was a Justice Doche on page 897 of GBA case clarified that while the President must consult the Judicial Council and the Council of State, their advice is not binding, though appointments must still go through all three required stages. It is just a Council of State for put the binding. How much more that of the Attorney General of the Chief Justice? Justice Atuguba noted on page 891 of GBA case that nominations typically originate from the Attorney General, the Ghana Bar Association, and the Chief Justice before going to the Judicial Council. Based on these interpretations, the President and Council of State concluded that no constitutional or legal provision had been violated in the Chief Justice's conduct to merit removal. As a result, they found no evidence of misbehavior or incompetence warranting her removal and dismissed the allegation. Then the Chief Justice, when response, the Chief Justice invoked the legal principle of res judicata, arguing the matter had already been decided. This principle protests against being tried twice for the same issue, whether in civil or criminal context. Because I said, Abba, ye dear we, I don't know what's on the Abba, especially whereby I circle the same place, President, the one the circle. Shining Stars beam was it on October 15, 2024. Honorable Afenyo Markin sued Speaker Babinova declaring 4 seats vacant. The Speaker allegedly violated natural justice by acting without hearing the affected MP, that's Odi Ultram Party. Petition claims Chief Justice Saki Tokuno also breached these principles when she ruled without hearing the Speaker, who didn't file an affidavit. The Speaker addressed the issue only via a parliamentary report, not in court. Her judgment acknowledged that only the plaintiff and Attorney General submitted arguments. On 30th October 2024, the Speaker filed an application claiming the Supreme Court issued ex parte orders, that's without his input, staying his ruling. The court justified the stay by citing a risk of irreparable harm, but admitted the Speaker was not heard. The petitioners argued the harm threshold was not met and that the Chief Justice's actions violated Article 2.3 amounting to constitutional incompetence. Secretary Nama responded na just collected the buy. And the Chief Justice response was the buy. The Chief Justice stated that the complaint misunderstands the structure of the Supreme Court, as decisions of the Supreme Court are made collectively by a panel of no fewer than 5 justices, not by the presiding judges alone. Assemble and the presiding judge and core decision. Name any promoter some year 5, or year 7, or year 9. It is a baby you be did here and the moon say you. Judicial decisions reflect the consensus of the entire panel, with all judges signing off on the record. The presiding judge, whether the Chief Justice or another senior justice, does not represent the court individually. Under Article 1273 of the Constitution, judges and anyone exercising judicial power or protected from legal action for their work and judicial decisions are protected. The independence of the judiciary and the collective nature of court rulings prevent any single judge from being held personally accountable for a court's outcome. The proper channel for challenging such decisions is through lawful judicial processes, not personal petitions. This is especially so when judicial decisions may be re-examined only through judicial processes that are provided for by the law. Therefore, the Chief Justice cannot be removed based solely on the petitioner's disagreement with a court decision. Yanko Daniel Ofori Dieno. Petitioner Daniel Ofori. Was said Daniel Ofori petitions the president for the removal of the Honorable Chief Justice on grounds of stated misbehavior and incompetence under Article 1461 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. He mentions 21 specific allegations of misbehavior and 4 allegations of incompetence, all of which relate to the Honorable Chief Justice's discharge of her administrative roles and functions as head of the judiciary, responsible for its supervision and administration. Yanko, and administration. In 2023, the Chief Justice allegedly misappropriated 261,000 Ghana cedis and $30,000 in per diem from public funds. And I'm a jump from public funds to finance a private foreign trip with her husband and daughter, despite knowing they were not entitled to such benefits. In 2023, the Chief Justice allegedly misappropriated 75,750 Ghana cedis in public funds to purchase Ethiopian Airlines ticket for herself and her husband for a vacation to Arusha, Tanzania. Tanzania. In 2023, the Chief Justice received an accountable interest of 14,000 from the Judicial Service for a trip to Arusha, Tanzania with her husband, which she failed to account for. Chief Justice response in here. The Chief Justice family denied allegations by Daniel Ofori that she misappropriated 261,000 cedis of public funds for private foreign travel with her husband and daughter. The official terms of her appointment as Chief Justice includes 2 vacations in a year. She clarified that the Judicial Services travel policy in place since 2010 and amended in 2019 allows the Chief Justice to travel with a spouse or another person of choice with expenses covered by the service. Paragraph B1 of the policy on foreign travels by head of the Judiciary and Superior Court judges provides for 2 holidays for the Chief Justice in a year, with travel expenses, hotel accommodation, and per diem to be borne by the Judicial Service and capped at 14 days per round trip. Paragraph A9 provides that the Chief Justice shall undertake unlimited official travels with either his or her spouse or other person of his or her choice in a year, fully funded by the Judicial Service. And the Chief Justice, one in the kunu and the 2 kwan, Bonnie Benny Boom, and Mabene Tia. Second one, Chief Justice, one in the Baba and the 2 kwan, and Bonnie Benny Boom, and Mabene Obuso, Ninano, and Yam Epaquaso. The Judicial Service confirmed that paragraph A10, right? Sorry, forgive me. Paragraph A10 provides that where the spouse or other person accompanies the Chief Justice, he or she shall travel on the same class of air ticket. Where the spouse or other person accompanies the Chief Justice, he or she must travel on the same class of air ticket as the Chief Justice and shall be paid the equivalent of half the per diem paid to the Chief Justice. Where your quotation, media free, emra ebo Chief Justice na kwantuo ho no, where quotation and a makoto a direct quotation, and your Chief Justice quotation, but where your quotation from emra ebo mo. The Judicial Secretary confirmed that the tickets for her husband and daughter during the two separate vacations in 2023 were in line with this policy. Evidence was provided in terms of all of the above. In fact, Makaje said we in a summary. Chief Justice response was the koye. What didn't you know? Who say me ba me kunu ye koye no ticket ya umotoma and you don't put ticket no hotel a no judicial council for and a service for and a yin arrangement at the man. Additionally, the Chief Justice rebutted the claim of failing to retire a $14,000 impress, providing evidence that she spent $4,411 and returned the remaining $9,588.20 promptly. Chief Justice Ghana man $14,000 say offer kwa brutal pa won kodi offer kwa top bag $4,000 on top a chain said this say was it there I'm a very modest woman. It was pending less than $5,000. Obaye almost $10,000 in account. Chief Justice returned this money with documentation, with evidence, with receipts, invoices. Ni na the command judicial service. Me bo me sama mama me. Eye me kwa me Asare Bediako a e ka be trust pelele. E ka ma consider oman no ane say me de $500 na ka me de aba. Ma consider no. Why which people amongst you any amount $14,000 say fatu kwa na betimi edi. Why this what the kind of fabra now would did almost $10,000 aba out of $14,000. What any kunu koi? What did the bad koi? And he's such a woman you think say why boy? Yanko. Illness in Arusha, Tanzania during her September 2023 vacation with her husband compelled her to return to Ghana a day earlier in order to ensure that she was able to have one full day to journey to Cape Coast for the annual conference of the Ghana Bar Association. This led to a rerouted return, which was documented in official records. She emphasized that she neither controls ticket purchase, she neither controls ticket purchases nor sets or authorizes per day rates, which are handled by the Judicial Secretary and Director of Finance. So not setting in a map. The per day rates are based on standards set by the Article 71 committee. She also clarified that she is not a signatory to any judicial service accounts thereof. Therefore, she argued the claim of misappropriation is baseless and misinformed. She expressed concern that the petitioner, without access to internal records, misrepresented facts. Overall, the Chief Justice asserted that her actions were fully compliant with policy and her role does not permit any misappropriation. In July 2023, the Chief Justice unconstitutionally In July 2023, the Chief Justice unconstitutionally interfered in proceedings in Republic versus Judicial by secretly ordering national security officials to seize court computers used to record proceedings without informing the accused or his lawyers. The Chief Justice unconstitutionally interfered in the judicial proceedings of Republic versus Judicial by secretly involving national security officials in the arrest and question of judicial service personnel without the knowledge of the accused and his lawyers. The Honorable Chief Justice maliciously and falsely accused two judicial service staff of tampering with court records in Republic versus Judicial and formed a committee of inquiry without informing the accused or their lawyers. Where ya me say kind of where me say mu bie so a where me say be pie Ghana no a be consume obia it jachi question sem no enkofo bi ko tua enkofo sika e wo judicial service so e mo tamper with the court records asane be mus dem nya records na e de by eni and internally judicial service for na internally no e set it up e fe national security for some boy say obi records na e wo computer no mu no obi edi bibia be frame records no and internal presidential yenye ni year why must they have records to one more asam na form to answer eti an administrative processes by the Chief Justice or by the Judicial Service. I just want to catch what's the court to answer. How? What do you mean by this? Hey, common sense. Has it really eluded a lot of people like this? Young Queen. When you be a petition, was it the Honorable Chief Justice arbitrarily and unreasonably transferred Francis Bediako from his position as Deputy Director of ICT to a regional role shortly after he was exonerated and recommended for reinstatement by a committee of inquiry. This transfer followed his clearance of false charges related to tampering with court records. The Honorable Chief Justice, in bad faith, arbitrarily transferred execution proceedings in the Danofori and Ekoban case from one high court. Has a very interesting. From one high court division, that's commercial 7, to another general jurisdiction 8, to achieve a previously unsuccessful outcome. She did so after receiving a petition from the judgment debtor's lawyer without giving the judge creditor's lawyer an opportunity to be heard. The Chief Justice responds in here. The Chief Justice denies allegations of interfering in the Republic vs. Jatikwesi case, stating she acted appropriately upon receiving an unusual report from the judge presiding over the case that court records had been digitally altered. On July 28, 2023, she visited the court with senior officials to assess the situation after she received the letter. She went on to address ICT staff and sought their help in resolving the breach. She also ordered an investigation to enable the Judicial Service to solve the problem, which could affect the integrity of e-justice. A report was submitted by the National Signals Bureau. Morning, what is saying? And based on the report, the identified officials were investigated by a Judicial Service committee. The Chief Justice rejects claims of unconstitutional conduct, explaining she had no duty to involve and interact the accused or his lawyers in solving problems the Judicial Service was faced with. She also delegated all follow-up actions to relevant offices. She emphasizes having no direct involvement with staff implicated in the breach and knows that Mr. Bediako, the gentleman on whose behalf the petitioner seems to be acting, remains employed as a deputy director of the Judicial Service, albeit on transfer from the e-justice systems in the law court. Now then, Ghana the Nico School said, change on the e-justice. Has he been demoted? No. The condition of service, no. He's only been transferred to different department. What's the cry? Cassandra Chumambo and the Secretary. Is it hot there? Two shop. One for baby cry. Western law for baby. She attached, that's the Chief Justice, attached exhibits of the records of the incidents, including the report from the National Signals Bureau. The Chief Justice is alleged to have abused her authority by transferring the case Ekoban vs. Danofori from one High Court judge, General Jurisdiction 6, presided over by her Ladyship Justice Boadu Ponsa, to another, that's General Jurisdiction 8, presided over by her Ladyship Justice Mriku, simply because she disagreed with a dismissal decision that conflicted with her earlier dissenting opinion at the Supreme Court level. This action is viewed as improper use of power, undermining judicial independence. Where ye Danofori petition and I claim back on. Yet the Chief Justice response was it the Chief Justice refused these claims, noting that the petitioner as a party to the cases has access to the court and that similar allegations were already addressed in a prior petition by Professor Asare in 2024. The Chief Justice cites 104 to 106 of the Courts Act 1993 as the legal basis for authority to transfer cases and emphasizes that such discretion is exercised with proper justification and recorded request. The transfer of the case from Justice Boadu to Justice Mriku occurred solely because Justice Boadu had traveled abroad suddenly due to family illness. She is currently on medical leave. In fact, Justice Boadu samutie na semwa obe mobo na busua wa bruchire yare aboba akon ontimi nta Ghana enna wono aka se dabi e wo se mitimi tu kwan me kohwe mabusuafo entina mekọ me no ka se wa bruchire ye woni Ghana etikase ne fa to ma no ye ni The transfer of the second case from Justice Lodot to Justice Miracle was done following a party's request to consolidate cases involving the same parties and issues to promote judicial efficiency and avoid conflicting judgments. Case in Bohonma is the same case, but Nasodaha, and Nanosakotha, and they didn't Tisakotha. They are won't share it will consolidate, meaning say, it can now boom, and a judge back, said the baby who say, and the tin air back, and Marano. The Chief Justice explained her limited judicial interaction with an Oforis cases and clarified that she stopped being empaneled on his cases after his lawyer, Chachuchi Kata, applied for her not to be empaneled on his cases in 2021. She has also not presided over any of his matters since becoming Chief Justice. Somebody Chachuchi Kata didn't. Now Chachuchi Kata is one of the lawyers seeking the removal of the Chief Justice. The ex-president and Council of State previously reviewed and dismissed similar allegations on grounds that they were based on speculation and pose risk to judicial independence. I'm sure they can say they can no wakakra. I think say metima poso waha. Nyame adoma edwada enum anopa. Nyame adoma edwada anopa. E wo kwaku da ru program so. Ye best no o me 30 minutes. O say so na wo dia. Let me see your best friend. Wanti. What prejudices beyond against me.
Against you.
After all the petitions and the responses now, yes, I can be no. And ye just oppose when ye at the ha. Diakano a Dawson. Yamia do my Jwada, ye a chopper say led by a cooker. A cook will say, oh, my bay 30 minutes. Now you're fire. Yeah, for one can within a how no. Compound interest. We interest in a compound.
Go on.
Yes.
Me peke signal say, you overthrew every coast president. Can we confirm that?
Not yet. Almost started, but it's largely on social media.
I'm picking a signal now. If we can confirm it.
Oh, don't worry, I can confirm it. See now. Yes, all right, but just a minute. No, be a Coca. A minute, then wrap up myself. Yanko.
Oh, I think, sir. Me, I feel, sir. Chief Justice has 7. Yenya butre. Na enko through. Obe odiyebefa a fine educational system and in camera no. Oh, yebehu nkrophobia, they have tried to avoid the camera for a very long time. By yebehu and Wontumi asem no. Ebe me ya say sada no omo detain omo be Sam George because clearly aba see baby edun aba edibo techino ba on tena on chen me mfam they should do the needful but mama kire say akoko ne akoko hwede difference no say ba ku nwrem na ba ku ofi.
Okay, Mati Bizakweko yanko
godon the me so me kan say yenua adenta kumi one chama Wontumi yeso mo se babi omo obi anyame enhye omo den na omo hu se party no the rank and file of the party no ye nyina yeta omochi sabi omo nye bone adenta kumi wo hwe ni issue na ono de pepere ye na nka wo pe e wo judicial system ni mo na so sa ne ma we nyina ebi aba be for no na chama de ono wo ye target free from 2014 hono ye target but said 2014 omo ye ya omo antimi anso cd ene oda sote ase no we is part of the process into ono an hye ne ho de no hu say this one too shall pass.
Yeah, right. Me ho na chi mi say
obi agengamo
am papa o Dr. Dedon ko say na slice na me ye
no enjoy now
and was say I was a bad teacher. You are ahead of your slide. But dog, when I miss I was say na e wo TV no so na wo me phone no so I had to be ahead of the slides na kaka with the miss Peter, you wrap up.
enti the mechanic say yenua adanta kumi and the chairman na coupon show modern na kakra meka twato no say me dey say my majutem so anopa me frefre me nua no obi a me nim ni bia check no say ne ho ya na because obi edu no hwe ti say omukọ chairman Wontumi fie ena nka anko ye say media house yi frɛ no na oyɛ ne public na omukọ fa na ya ante ko yenim be bia komode ne bɛkɔ yenim de komode bɛyɛ no so nti Nyankopɔn ne boa ye say ekoba so muduru hɔ no na ɔno nso sem halfway frɛ na ɔkasa cheche mu ne esi a manfo nya ho ntete a omukɔ nti people nka mo ho mom mo so ra mo frɛfrɛ mo ho cheche mo ho na mo hwɛ sɛ praye bi ba ko a ubu a ebu ebo mu a ubu emu ayi